Good evening. I am Theresa White, and I am the CEO and founder of End Time Creative Counseling Services. Welcome to January of 2021. So, if you have not seen me in the last week, Happy New Year. Um, Wanted to get on here, so we're going to do our weekly Can We Talk? Can We Talk for those who may be new to our page or new to our lives? Can We Talk is a weekly conversation on mental and social issues and how different things in the world affects us. So, anytime that we do these, I always do a disclaimer. You may see me looking at a few different cameras because I have a few different going on. So, sorry if you see my eyes kind of dart back and forth. But our Can We Talk conversations are simply just for that purpose. It is a conversation, a discussion, and at times I do give resources at the end. That's always my goal, to be able to give you some education from the mental health standpoint. But it is not a therapy session. It's not to replace a therapy session. I don't intend this to be a therapy session, but I am willing to answer questions that may be semi-therapy related. If they are too personal, you can definitely send me a DM, or you can reach out to me at our business page or a business email at info@intimeccs.com. That's info at intime, C as in cat, C as in cat, S as in Sam.com. So we'd be happy to answer any personal questions that you may have that you may not want to ask on the live. So we are here on this wonderful day of January the 11th of 2021. Hopefully it has been a wonderful day. How are you guys doing? Please check in, say hello to me. Let me know that you are here and that you can see and hear me. Okay. So I am happy that you guys are joining me on this wonderful Monday. It has been a cold Monday, but I'm glad that you guys are here. So hello, good evening, everybody. Hi, BJ. Hi, Tian. Hi, Miss Carolyn. Nice to see you. So tonight, let's just open it on up. Let me pause really quick with my disclaimer to let you know that I am a licensed mental health counselor, a registered drama therapist. I am a national certified counselor, a national clinical mental health counselor, addiction counselor. My specializations are depression, anxiety, trauma, and grief. So there's there's gamuts of things that we work with. I've been a therapist for a while, for 13 years. But this is a topic tonight. Just the topic with all that we have been thinking about is probably on everybody's mind. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. And so we are here to talk. So let's talk about it. So feel free to ask your questions. Please interact. I would love to hear your comments about all the wonderful, I say sarcastically wonderful, things happening in the world of America, or just the world in general. So tonight, what we're going to talk about, hello, Evangelist Mary. Thank you for joining. What we're going to talk about tonight, I'm just going to go over a few of the things that are happening right now and just discuss some ways that we prioritize what in the world, or what in the world's going on, all these things that are happening. So it's a lot. And I know you probably have been having conversations with family, friends, probably pick up the phone and say, hey, did you see the news? Or did you hear about this? Has probably been most of your conversations recently, or in the last 8 days. It probably has been. And every day is probably something new that's happening, because that's just where we live right now. So I just want to take this time, because I have some things I need to get off my chest as well. I want to let y'all know before we get into this list about all the things that are going on. So are y'all ready? Y'all ready for my session? Are we ready to let me have event session? Because I need event session. So it's January. January brings about a lot of different things, a lot of good things. People look for their certain things in the mail. You look for your W-2s, you look for different things, tax information from businesses. So there's a lot of numbers that are happening in this month. There are things that are still happening in families, there are things that are still happening at workplaces. And so I just want to say that, sometimes your environment can look like what's actually going on. It could be a lot going on outside of you, a lot going on inside of you mentally. But I won't get on my personal soapbox. But I have a lot going on. And all that is happening in the world, you probably have a lot going on too. A lot going on personally, a lot going on in your family. And then there's all these things happening too. So I want to get to the list, actually. I'm going to just kind of go over a few things of what we call current events or what's going on right now that you probably have heard. And some of these things are probably personal to the city or the area that I am actually in, because we are located in Terre Haute, Indiana. If some doesn't apply to you, please let me know how it's looking in the city that you're in or the area that you're in, if things are different a little bit in where you are, because I would love to hear what's going on in your world. So first and foremost on this wonderful list of what is all the things that or what's going on. So we know, just go and put it out there. We know about the Capitol. We've seen videos about it. People have put their own response videos about what's happened at the Capitol. But not only what's happened at the Capitol with regards to people storming it and doing all that they done, and the feelings that come up about that. There were also 2 officers. And if you did not hear, let me give you a news update that there was a report. Excuse me. Let me get my drink, you all. Sorry. There was a report that a second officer passed away from trying to step in with the mob that was going on at the Capitol. So unfortunately, if you didn't know that, not only did one officer pass away, but the second one, 2 officers have passed away. That's what's going on. The morale, of course, at the Capitol and the area around it has dropped due to that horrendous event. So that's also what's going on. Right now, there's been a report of attempting to remove President Donald Trump. I don't know have all the details about that. You probably have heard that on the news as well. That's what's going on. There is also talk about the stimulus check. People have been, sending. You see memes about it. You hear people talking about it, wondering if you're gonna get yours, checking your bank accounts for the stimulus check. There's also been reports that this is the highest week of COVID deaths that there ever has been. And there's talk about what's going on there. We got, there's all, with the side of the pandemic itself as being what's going on. That's the main thing that people have on their brain. If I can get my words together on this wonderful morning of Monday. You see, y'all, it's Monday. That's why it's a lot going on. With regards to COVID. COVID is the umbrella of all the things that are happening as well. Because with regards to COVID, in this pandemic, there are still people that are shut in or quarantined, and quarantining because they've been around somebody, quarantining because they don't want to be around people. There's a lot of isolation. We use the word quarantining, but it's really it's isolation. People are being isolated from family, from friends due to wanting to stay safe or keep other people in their family or in their life safe. So that brings up a lot of emotions for people and a lot of thoughts as well. With regards to the highest number of deaths this week, people have feelings about that. Now, I'm not sure. I saw the number about 4,000 plus with regards to that particular number. That brings up a lot of thoughts about what's going on. Then it's, school. People are back to school, back to work, because last week people's vacations ended. Mostly people's vacations ended. So you're back to school and back to work. And in our area with school, some of the stressors that been happening is that schools before were the students were going every other day, like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of deal, and then the next week they would flip flop and go Tuesday, Thursday. This time, I have gotten a lot of um, concerns from our students and staff that I do work with, um, that now that they're kind of staying on that same. So if you're Monday, Wednesday, you will continually be Monday, Wednesday. Your Tuesday, Thursday, you will continually be Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday, I guess it would be. And everybody goes virtual on Monday. So I have students who are like, that's not enough time for me to learn. I was already struggling with going 5 days a week. Now I'm only going 2 days a week. And they just are feel like they're not doing well. So grades are slipping, people are losing motivation. Again, all up under the umbrella of the pandemic and the changes that are happening. So that's still going on. 2021, the year changed, and everybody said, Happy New Year. And we are so excited the new year changed. And then stuff still is happening. So that's going on in the world. But what's going on also within the families, within people's personal lives? People have family members that are ill, whether it's because of coronavirus or it's because of other diagnosed illnesses or medical problems. People are being separate from their family members. So that's still a stressor that's going on. And there are still personal issues that are happening that either COVID has exacerbated and brought out, or that just are happening because we're people and life happens to us. People have dealt with the holidays or coming after the holidays. And so there's financial struggles that are happening because some people overspent for the holidays. So there's a lot of things happening. So I won't go down the list. That's not an exhaustive list. Um, but I want to hear from you, with regards to what's going on. And as I go over some of the things of how to prioritize things that are happening, because in life, as we can see, things are going to be happening. Period. Life is life. So I see the comments. No, my vent section is not about Jerry. Eric, you are funny. Hello, Eric, by the way. Hi, Mother Nella. But yes, please, if, we have our moments. And even with regards to that comment, even, as a funny comment, but we have stressors that are happening in our relationships. They are not stopping because the new year turned over or because January showed up. Stressors are not stopping just because the day changed. Now, yes, we get this really excited, Happy New Year and new me and all these things that we say, new year, new me. I got my resolutions. I'm excited. I'm going to be working on A, B, and C. And all the wild things around us are happening. So, good evening, Aunt April. So we are going to just talk about how do you prioritize? How to prioritize what's happening in life right now, or what's going on. So before I do that, so some of the things that I've mentioned, is there other things that you guys are willing to share with me that has been happening? What else is going on? And when we talk about priorities, I want to give a definition of a priority. And I'm going to give you the actual book definition. So give me just one moment as I'm pulling it up on my wonderful dictionary. You know what? Let me say this other part of the vent section that I said I was having. New things, as I talked about last week. So those who were able to hear the conversation, I did mention some new things that are happening in 2021. They can be exciting new things. New things are exciting, right? But new things can also be scary. So that's part of things that are going on. New things are happening, but fear can also be coming over, people feeling overwhelmed. So as I mentioned, some of the things that are happening, if you would be so kind, or willing to, will you put in the comments some emotions that people may have? Not necessarily the things that you may be feeling, but some that you may have heard of or that you've seen maybe other people experience. If you don't want to share your own, what are some emotions that come up if you heard about the Capitol, when you saw that on the news or someone told you about it? What were some emotions that was coming up for you? What happened when you heard about the lack of security that was at the Capitol? the things that they show on the videos and on the news? What emotions come up as you learned about, if it was just tonight or just in general, the two officers, or that you found out before about the two officers that passed away um, due to the Capitol events? What comes up about when we talk about, them, the leaders trying to remove President Donald Trump before the 20th, even though I know the inauguration is on the 20th. When you think about the inauguration on the 20th, what feelings come up? So those are really important when we talk about prioritizing or what to do with what's going on. Um, One of the things that I think is helpful when we have like a lot happening, I like you just saw me do, and it's wonderful. See my notebook. What are my, not necessarily commitments, because I don't want to put that in a box in myself, but one of the things that I have said I'm going to do for this year, just for myself in general, not necessarily this year, but today in this moment, because I don't want to go all the way to the year. Um, I write stuff down. So straight to the nitty gritty of how do you prioritize, and with all that's going on, I write everything that's happening down, whether I have rent due or doctor's appointment, or I got to take my child to the sports event, or we got to make a run here, pick up groceries, whatever that is. I make a list of everything that needs to be done, not necessarily in order, but just making that list. um excuse me I've been drinking water, you guys. It just keeps giving me the belchies. So I make a list. And we're going to just sum up prioritize as things that are important to you, things that are prioritizing, putting the thing of list in order of priority, or what's important, or what's most valued. We talk about prioritizing things. I'm gonna get my words together tonight, you guys. So I write them down first. After I write them down, I can get them out of my head. The benefit of doing that, and you may hear a lot of people talk about journaling or writing. That's the new thing that the people are doing. That it's like, okay, well, I'm going to write this down so I can get it out of my head. Because sometimes it's the thoughts of what you have to do and all that's happening floating in your mind, or kind of making circles in your head, can bring more anxiety or bring stress regarding what's going on. So just to be able to get it out on paper, write it down, whether you put it in on there, you put it in your phone, type it on your computer, put it in your notes, your notepad on your phone, however you need to get it out, get that list or whatever needs to happen out of your head. Sometimes we take for granted the things that are on our minds, that we just will, I know I'm going to do this. So as you heard me say last week, the things that are coming up for 2021, I have all these things, but I also have to write them out. And as is mentioned, thank you, April, a vision board. The benefit of a vision board is this vision. You can see it. There is a technique that I use with everybody that I'm working with. When I'm making a treatment plan with them, we actually work on the visual of it. Um, and so that's always a benefit, to be able to write out and see where you are and where you want to go and what's going to take to get there. So write out your list. So when we talk about how to prioritize or how to rank what's going on, what do I tackle first? Make a list. When you look at that list, and I do this with people that I'm working with that may be struggling with making a decision, or with regards to just wanting to learn about themselves. We do this with values as well. So the same way you think about things that are valuable, you would rank it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many is on your list. Sometimes you can go backwards with writing what's most important. And when I do that, I say, what's the thing on this list that I can do without? That if I didn't have it, it wouldn't be a life or death situation. So when we talk about prioritizing, which one is it life or death? That's question number one. When we talk about importance, is it life or death? And sometimes it really is a matter of life or death. So with regards to food, you got to have food, got to have water. Without that, that's a matter of life or death. Some people, when it comes to medications, matter of life or death for them, or severe health issues. So ask that question first. Which one thing on here can I live without and it wouldn't be an issue? That would be, and it may be one, two, or three things. Then you rank those things. And I always say go from the bottom up. So if you have a list of five, what's number five? What's number four? Three, two, and one. And when you see what your number one is, you can actually say, okay, this is what's most important right now in the moment. Because sometimes when we look at, a wonderful list of things that we want to do, that we will, say, oh, okay, we can get overwhelmed all over again. It's a long list. But when we put numbers by it, it gives us those steps. So kind of a ADHD moment or a helper tip for parents who have children who struggle or even adults who struggle with attention. When you write down a whole list and say, I need you to get all this stuff done, that is a recipe for chaos, people feeling overwhelmed and just not getting anything done. And this is necessarily for it, not just for those who may struggle with attention, but for anybody. When you have a list of things to do, start with what's priority. Number one, I need you to, get your clothes off the floor. Then once that's done, number two, I need you to fold your clothes. And you can go down the list of what needs to get done. So, that would be for children or even sometimes for adults. Get your laundry done. But there's also things, okay, when we think about the bills that we have to pay or the responsibility financially that we have, we generally rank it according to what's most important. Does it fall up under the hierarchy of need? With shelter, safety, food, love, care, that kind of thing. And that's a different life for a different day when we go over the hierarchy. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, looking at this list and looking at the comment that I see that you put up, April, beforehand, really ties in, because sometimes when you look at the list of things, you can start to tell yourself all these negative things. I can't get that done. That's too much. And I'm never going to get it done, which is what a lot of our students are doing. And even workers who are working from home that have their young children. Again, it's a lot going on. Like I said, the list is not exhaustive to what I just got through talking about, but with so many things happening in people's lives right now, it can seem overwhelming to make a list. Like, it's so many things. But once you start writing and you put those numbers there, when you struggle with that confidence, look at answer the question. If everything is important, if you say all of it's important, all of it's a matter of life and death, say, what's the easiest? Second question, ask yourself, which one of these is the easiest for me to get done? So some people like to tackle the hard things first. That's your business. You can do that if that's what makes it better for you. But generally, when we're talking about working with people who may feel overwhelmed, or this list or things that are happening brings on anxiety or lack of confidence or struggles to get things done, especially like our students and our youth, sometimes it needs to be, let me get the easiest thing done first. Let me do that first. Because then that brings up that confidence, that sense of accomplishment. And it says, okay, I can tackle that. Then I can tackle, if I can get A done, I can tackle B. If I get B done, I got AM. And then when you start to do more, that accomplishment and that proud feeling increases, that confidence increases. But if I start out, saying, let's get algebra done, and algebra is the hardest thing for you, that could wipe you out mentally and physically. And you're like, nope. Or even physically, for both kind of combating each other. And you're like, I'm done. I'm not doing nothing. And then you just completely either put it off or you don't get it done. But with all that's going on in the world, one of the comments I see on here definitely, as we talked about before, with COVID craziness, because that's exactly what's happening. And now it's just world craziness. Again, put it on the list. Is watching the news and finding out what's going on with the Capitol, is that a matter of life and death? Is that immediately my life and death situation? Can that be put on hold or put over here on the side while I take care of things that are more pressing, more important, more valuable at that moment? This is maybe nice to stay up on current events, because you may like to stay up on current events, but there still needs to be things taken care of in your immediate circle or realm of influence. So with the list of that's going on, if it takes a list, this is overwhelming craziness list. With that, then you can say, okay, which one of these do I have control over? And if you don't have control over any of them, then there may need to be boundaries that you set to keep yourself distanced from that stress. As it was mentioned as an example, we talked about this before in the previous live that we did in 2020, to limit your intake of social media from the news. Limit your influence of who's calling you, telling you the most updated information. Did you hear? No, I didn't, and I prefer to not right now. I'm taking care of my baby, putting them to sleep right now, and I don't need to be stressed. Or I'm trying to get my peace and quiet for the day because my children are finally asleep. Whatever that may be for you, you have a say so, most of the time, on what comes in your realm of influence when it comes to what you hear, what you see. A lot of times, we don't get me wrong, I understand that you can scroll and look for or be on a social media site and only look for one thing and something else pops up. But if you don't want this to pop up and you're concerned about this, then whatever you're looking for may need to hold on and wait if it's not a dire priority or a value. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, please limit how much news you're watching, how much news you're listening to, because sometimes news is happening on the radio and you're trying to listen to an inspirational station or your favorite song, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and here go the latest news. It's as simple as turning that button, hitting the power button, turning it down. At least for that, next 1 or 2 minutes, turn it back on, put your favorite song on, kind of refresh or reshape that environment so that you're not listening to something that you feel like is going to make you more stressed. Excuse me. I'm trying to make sure. Okay, I see. Post-it notes. Let me, yeah, I almost don't want to show y'all, but I have post-it notes like in my workspace. And this is one thing that I wanted to also show you guys with regards to with how to prioritize. This is a great way to do it. Now with the planner, that's wonderful, but I bought this, I think, at like a Family Dollar, Dollar General or something. And I'm gonna make sure I don't have anything that's personal on here before I turn it over. Nope, I don't think so. I think it's just like anxiety type stuff that I was writing down for an event that I'm doing. Can y'all see that? This says now, this says later, this says someday. When you make your list, if you can't put numbers, categorize it with these 3 things. What needs to be done now? What can be done later? And be honest with yourself. Sometimes like, no, I got to get this done now. Does it really have to be right now? And what would happen if it doesn't get done right now? And think about answering those questions for yourself. Can this wait till later? Can I put this up maybe later? And be careful that you don't say later too often to things that should be done now. But if you write it out, you can be honest with yourself and say, okay, this needs to be done now. I can do this later. That's not due till next week or whatever. Then someday I want to take a vacation. Someday I want to paint my room. That's not an immediate. Someday I want to buy a new dress. Someday I want to A, B, and C, whatever that is. So these 3 really help. So kind of like sticky note, because I can just take it off. Boop. And when I get done with it, I tear it off and I check it. And it's really fulfilling to check off what you've done. It sounds like it's like something that we used to do when we were children, but it is. Like when your teacher used to put on the board all the things that needed to get done that day, and then he or she would check them off. That made the class feel like, yay, we got this done. And it's the same way personally. So for you, if you are someone that's like, I forget what I need to get done, write it down. It's really helpful to write them down. And then again, you can categorize it by numbers and rank it that way in the order of importance. Or if numbers are too concise for you, now, later, someday. Work on the now stuff now, the later stuff later, and the someday stuff someday. And don't get me wrong, this someday may sooner or later move to the later or move to the now. That happens. But we're not dealing with someday. We're trying to deal with right now, what we need to prioritize right now. So yes, thank you, April, for that tip on the sticky notes. So we definitely love sticky notes because then you get done with it, you can rip it up, throw it away. Be careful that you're not just piling sticky notes everywhere because that can also feel overwhelming to see all these things that I have to get done. But as I said, one thing at a time. Um, right. I just one thing at a time. Yes, Mother Nellum, one day at a time. That's all we have anyway. All we have is this moment in time, pun intended. All we have is this moment in time. We can say, I'm gonna do this next week, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, I'm gonna do this, next month. That's fine to have plans. It's wonderful to have things planned. But again, right now, what's my right now? Do I need sleep right now? Or talking to myself, or do I need to make sure I get, all this budget and get all this stuff done right now? Is that a right now thing, or can I do that in the morning? So it's really a matter of, again, what's priority, what's life and death, um, what can be put away for a later time, um, and balancing or juggling those two. So I don't want to overwhelm you with what to do, but those three questions to ask yourself. Um, Again, what's a matter of life and death? Literally life and death. Um, what's most important? What can be put away? What can I do later? Or what, I'm sorry, what needs to flip that? What needs to be done right now? So, like if you are saying, oh, I need to pay my light bill today, or I'm gonna have a late fee, or they're gonna turn me out. Okay, that would be a right now thing. We get that. Um, with regards to food, depending on when the last time you ate, it may not be an immediate right now. If you can grocery shop tomorrow, the day after, you can order it and pick it up curbside now because they have so many different things that are happening to accommodate people that are quarantined or at home, or just because of COVID, period. Then take advantage of those services, take advantage of those resources, and do it that way. So, trying to make sure I don't have any questions. Did I miss any comments? Charting the day out the night before. That's a good idea. I like that idea. Charting the day out. She got Miss April. You got a lot of good gems for everybody tonight. Charting your day out the night before. That is a nice idea. Let me caution, because again, I'm thinking of people that I work with. When it comes, if you are somebody that struggles with insomnia, and you can't sleep at night, you can't fall asleep because your mind won't stop, charting out what needs to be done may be helpful. But if you feel like it's going to overwhelm you and keep you woke more to think about what you have to do tomorrow, do not wait till that night to chart out what you need to go to sleep because that can rev up anxiety and keep you up longer. But in another part of the day, like, when I first wake up, get this done, because then you have all data. Again, prioritize it to now, later. And sometimes your now and later can be, I need to get it done by 8:30. My later, I need to get things done by 4 o'clock. My son, sometime this week, I need to get it done by Friday. Sometimes that may be the case as well. So however you need to do that. Praying. So yes, if praying is a comment, or not a comment. Yes, it's a comment, but my words, you guys. What, what? When you are in sessions and talking to people all day, sometimes you get to the end of your day and the words just are no longer formulating in your brain. But that word is not there right now. But the comment that's on here is to be able to pray. Is helpful, along with prayer, meditation, for those who want to do meditation. And meditation, even if some people look at meditation as a religious thing, or a spiritual thing, it's just a way to calm your brain. Just a way to calm down and be able to literally focus when things are overwhelming. Prayer can help you, really, again, prioritize this now, later, someday list. When I bought this, I was like, that'd be really helpful. And when I really wrote things on here, it was really helpful to write it in a list and look at, okay, they don't need to get done right now. So then it would bring down that worry and that anxiety of like, I have to. No, I can do that later. Um, be careful of the procrastination monster, though. That's another lie for a different day. um, any other comments that I missed? Oh, what's I like that? What's going to get me paid? And I'm going to flip that a little bit as well. You can definitely ask yourself that question. What's going to bring you joy? Because sometimes we look at, I have to go to work, I have to go to work, and we are putting something very important, such as our mental health, on the back burner. And of course, that's my field. What's going to bring you joy? What's going to bring you fulfillment? So make sure that you put those kind of things in your day as well. Whether it's playing 2 rounds of my word game. I'm on this new word game, y'all. With not the new word game, but I'm on a new app with the word game, and it really helps my brain. Not right now though, because my words are doing something else. But what have I been procrastinating about? Or what have I been putting off? If it's something that just keeps staying on your later list or staying on your someday list, it may be time to evaluate whether you need to shift that to like, I need to deal with that, or why am I putting it off? And say, is this really important? And really ask yourself that question. And then last, prayer is a time saver. Yes, for those who pray, it really helps. And I am a woman of faith, so I it really how you start your morning, and this is coming from an entrepreneur as well. Excuse me. I don't know why I use tissue, y'all. Nobody's in my office but me. um, but with regards to why I like to do that in the morning, it really does help center and calm me down. I don't come in the day and just let me get some coffee and run and get ready for my appointments. No, I want to come in enough to get enough time to pray. And if you need to replace prayer with meditation, however you do, but just to get that quiet time, to be able to even sit with your thoughts. Sometimes we don't do that. I know it's a lot going on, and sometimes it's a lot going on in our brains and in our minds, and so we want to make sure that we really are taking that time to center, to calm down, and to just have quiet and stillness. With all that's happening in the world, that is like a blessing to have stillness. And so I do that in my morning. And it really, I've noticed as I've become an entrepreneur and doing that to start my day has been like the gym. When I do not get into my office in enough time or set myself the time to do that, my day is frazzled. I feel like I'm running like a chicken with my head cut off. And I realize when I sit down, like when I reflect on my day, because I do that, that's important as well if you want to do that. I reflect on my day and I'm like, I didn't start my day off like I usually do. I didn't start it off in quietness. I didn't start it off in stillness. I didn't start it off in prayer. And so those make a difference. And make sure if you know what helps you, start off with your favorite song playing in the background to calm you down or wake you up or whatever that may be. Put that in your morning to get your day started off right and your mind to start off right. And then I see before we end here, National Geographic is a blessing. I love watching it. Okay. I have not seen National Geographic in a long time, but it is to watch animals and different things like that that are on that station. Again, whatever is the soother for you, as a relaxer for you, do that. And so as we are closing off the sign, I don't want to keep you guys all night, but please go back if you missed the tips on how to prioritize. You can go back and rewind the video and rewind the live to what you to get those tips to be able to write those down. But if you know, as I'm saying, resources wise, somebody who really struggles with being able to calm their brain down, they are having racing thoughts, or they just feel very overwhelmed often, and it's beginning to affect their day, their mental health, their physical health, please reach out to somebody, whether it's your family doctor or mental health professional, because as we know, this is a time in the day that is not a good time to neglect your mental health. It's too much happening, literally, as we just said with the title. It's too much going on to neglect your mental health. And you know what? As I have said before, people talk about going to therapy and why you do it. It doesn't matter why you go. You can just go. You don't have to have a reason or a diagnosis or feel like you're crazy. You can just go because you need to get some things off your chest or just to have a safe space to talk about stressors or whatever your reason is. It doesn't matter. Just go. So I encourage everybody to, if you have not, um, please make sure you take care of your mental health if you have been neglecting it. If you need to reach out to me, you can definitely message us on here, our Anytime Creative Counseling Services page. I do read the messages. We are open Sunday through Thursday. So if you do reach out to us on Thursday night or Friday or Saturday, we will reach back out to you on Sunday when we come back in the office. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Alex. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Tips on how to prioritize, because sometimes that not knowing how to prioritize can be really stressful and bring a lot of anxiety. So, hope this helped you tonight, and we hope to see you next week on our Monday Night Live. Can we talk at 8 o'clock? If you are on Clubhouse, we'll be doing our conversation or our room. Our Can We Talk room is on Thursdays at 1:15. You guys have a great week, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye.